That is good enough. Something I never heard as a kid. So I love this whole split between the Eastern and Western self-development. That's what we talk about on this channel. We talk about both, not either or, but yes and. You know, the East, that's law of attraction, manifesting, says be here now. Then there's the West, that's more productivity, goal setting, achievement, right? Manage your day. And I find that when we're talking about manifestations, people just throw out the Western camp completely. And they're like, yeah, but what's the magic technique I do? My soulmate walks in the door the next day. And you'll even see that, manifest in 24 hours. But in this video, I really want to break down one simple concept that I feel like is going to be super eye-opening for you, and it has the power to change your life, okay? And I got this from a very Western book, Atomic Habits. I'll show you the concept on the whiteboard. Let me draw this concept for you. Things that are good for you, easy for you in the short term, are very bad for you in the long term. The inverse of that, things that are hard or bad for you in the short term are good for you in the long term. Over here we have what I call the easy meter. Okay, this is how easy a decision is in your life. Do you go to the gym? Do you stay home? Do you save money? Do you spend it all? And this is the effects over time. Let's take an extreme example. You decide to cheat on your wife. How easy is that decision in the moment? Super easy. You literally just give in to your instincts. Because you get married or in your relationship doesn't mean those go away. That's probably the easiest default choice you can make. Now, what's the payoff over time? Not much at first. Some people get away with it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? 5 years. This should be read. Because over the long time, that destroys families, destroys marriages, destroys kids, your relationship with your kids, finances. Really extreme example, but I think you're seeing the point. Take health and wellness, for example. Being raised in a household that gives you the foundations for health and raises you to eat healthy foods, you like it. Over the long term of 20, 30 years, you're gonna have a lower risk of diseases, right? Or obesity or comorbidity factors when you get sick that you can die from. The inverse of that, if you're raised on fast food and McDonald's, right? That's gonna be your habits. Over the long term, that's very bad. You're gonna be obese. Habits get easier to change the longer they go or harder. Yeah, they get harder. So here's my point with manifesting and why I'm even giving you this concept to begin with. There's always a price. That's what I'm saying with manifesting, okay? You can't get something for nothing, and it requires putting in the work. Now, here's my point. This is a concept I've heard described as delay time, and I think this is really relevant to what we're talking about. That's maybe you're asking for something, right, in your life today, and the universe is gonna give it to you way down the road, okay? Because remember, I believe that the universe is on its own timeline. It's not on our timeline. You can control everything you want, like the work you put in, the effort you put in, what you want. You can get really clear. But the only thing we can't control is the timeline. Not everyone believes that. That's my personal belief after working with, hundreds of people closely on this and seeing it in my life. I actually think that's a good thing because a lot of times it's even better than we think when it comes for you. The example I use is me touring in a band. When I first picked up the drumsticks, right, and I had blisters on my hands, I was practicing 8 hours a day in middle school to some 41 CDs because I wanted to impress this girl, just being honest. I sucked. I had to put in 10, 15 years of drumming and doing it every day, and I loved the process, but I didn't see any results from that until one day I got the call from a band that I'm touring in now. Hey, come on the road. We saw one of your YouTube videos, oddly enough, of like a drum cover. You available to tour with us? We need a drummer. And then I did. I couldn't control that timeline. Tell you what though, it was way better that it came there after I had built a business, went to college, did all that stuff, instead of me just doing it out of high school and then not having that foundational stuff that I could fall back on. What's my point? Maybe the secret to manifesting faster is to stop trying to manifest fast in the first place, because that's gonna lead you down a path of like trying to take shortcuts. I mean, just look at the micro level of this. People who wanna manifest money really fast, what do? They fall into sketchy businesses online. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but like fall for the ads with someone telling them they're gonna make $1 million a month with just clicking buttons at home. Yeah, maybe, but what they don't tell you is that takes a lot of work too, and time that you can't rush. It's very applicable for, decision making and maturity. I think maturity is all about delaying gratification. That's literally it. This is adulting, right? To use that word. You realize that short-term gratification, sacrificing what you want for what you want most, okay? So you have to give up some of the short-term gratification if you're going to be mature, if you're going to have like a life that you really love in 5 years, right? You do. Like you have to sacrifice the foods you like if you want the body of your dreams in 5 years. You have to sacrifice maybe going out and nights out like I did when I was building up this YouTube channel and this business, right? So I could have the freedom that I have now. One of the problems I see in this whole space of like manifesting and the law of attraction that I just wanted to bring up and really hit on here is like this impatience. Like, what's the rush? Like everyone in the titles are like how to manifest it as fast, right? 24 hours, 2 hours. How do I manifest the next day? And you'll hear some stories about people who it works for, and it does. By my definition of maturity, that's an immature approach. And I think an immature understanding of how life, the universe actually works. Psychologists and behavioral scientists that say the number one sign of success is delaying gratification. How long you're willing to delay gratification. There's even that test you might have heard of where they took, 5-year-olds, and they put a marshmallow in front of them in a room, and they're like, hey, you can eat this marshmallow, or if you wait, delay the gratification, we come back, we'll give you 2 marshmallows, 5-10 minutes. And the kids are sitting there, they're looking at that marshmallow, they're like, dang, that thing looks good. And it's painstaking 5, 10, 15 minutes. Some of the kids give up and they eat that marshmallow sitting right in front of them, right? But the ones who don't, they wait, they come back, they get the 2 marshmallows. When these researchers followed up with them, they found that they were making more money, they were happier, they were healthier, their life was just all around better. The lesson from that marshmallow test being that the longer you can delay gratification, that actually makes you more successful for a lot of areas. If you just give in to every single impulses of pleasure or desire, this is what the Buddha rants against, right? That what causes suffering? Desires. So by definition, if you're just giving into desires, right? It makes for good television with like Hollywood, like someone going off the rails, stop this guy, get him in celebrity rehab, right? Long-term effects of that are not so good. Now, I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying just be a grandpa when you're like 20 or 30 and just like, get up, go to bed 7 times a week at the same hour, put your head down and work for 40 years. No, that's not what I'm saying. Now, if you're taking that excess and drinking every single night, that payoff's here where it starts to really affect you. See that? Do you need to base your decisions today based on where you are or based on where you want to be, where you're going? Don't focus on where you are, focus on who you're becoming. And if you do that, if you base these decisions based on where you want to be, and you can kind of prolong the satisfaction, delay the gratification, not give in to the desires, right? That's the Eastern way of saying that. I think what you'll find is your life in 5 years is actually going to be better because you're basing your decisions based on where you want to be, not where you are. This is the thing I've ran into a lot. I talk to people on the phone pretty much all day now. That's why I've been a little MIA here. I'm just so busy with calls for our metamorphic coaching program. The results, the students, everything, like my heart and my soul is there. It's the coolest thing we've ever done. But not everyone signs up, and that's okay. The people who don't sign up, though, I notice one trend. They're basing their decision to do this program or not to do it based on where they are, not where they want to be. They're just looking at the cost. Can I do that or can I not? Oh, I can't, so I guess I can't do this. Not realizing that that's their problem keeping them stuck. And there's a difference between, I'm 2 paychecks away from bankruptcy, like, okay, yeah, not a good fit for you. But there's a difference between people where it'd be a little tight for them. They might have to say no to the nights out for a month or 2, right? And they're still not willing to base their decisions based on where they want to be. They base them on where they are. And if you just look at it that way too, like our program, you shouldn't do it. It's gonna require money. It's gonna require work. It's gonna require challenging and pushing you, discomfort. And so many people see that and they're like, oh, I don't want it. They kind of listen to that 1.0 them, decisions based on where they are. But you need to start basing your decisions based on the 2.0 version of you, based on this, not this. Based on where you want to be. Before I go any further, if you want to apply, there's a link down below. Happy to talk about this more with you. If you're someone who wants to base decisions based on where they want to be, not just where they are, and come up with reasons to just stay stuck. In seeing it and viewing it from this way, you're actually able to delay gratification because you know it's coming later on. The payoff's going to be bigger. And this is actually, I think, one of the ways to manifest faster is to maybe stop trying to manifest as fast as possible, because that's just going to cause you to go after desires You might fall into the wrong path. You might go back to the wrong person. And ultimately, you're not going to base decisions based on where you want to be. You're just going to base them on where you are. Thank you so much for watching. Love each and every one of you. See you in the next video. Till then, stop settling, start living. See ya.